My name is Byrne, current President of the Electrical Industries Federation of Ireland, which is more commonly known as the EIFI. Established in 1963 as the all-industry body for the electrical sector in Ireland, it now incorporates the representative associations of electrical contracting, manufacturers, wholesalers and distributors. We welcome and support the SEAI and the government's commitment to sustainability, and especially the ideals and objectives as outlined in the Climate Action Plan, which cover both environmental and economic sustainability. We also are very much aware of and support the broader EU climate-related objectives, such as the Renovation Wave and Green Deal initiatives. EIFI members are ideally placed to support these objectives and have devised carefully designed strategies that will help deliver a more energy efficient and carbon neutral Ireland. As individual associations and separately as the overall representative federation, we engage regularly with government departments, statutory and standard bodies and various industry forums by making submissions and providing technical support and advice. Our membership of and active engagement with similar bodies across Europe, including Europe-wide associations, gives us access to developments and information of critical significance, which we in turn feed back to the Irish marketplace. In this way, we also contribute to decision-making progress at the highest levels within the EU policy-making forum and help champion the specific market needs of Ireland. Obviously, we also engage with the other construction-related representative bodies and associations in Ireland and have designated delegates appointed on many of these organisation committees. But it is not all outward looking. As an organisation representing all strands of the electrical industry in Ireland, we ensure cohesion and unity of purpose across the activities of all member associations. In addition, we have allocated significant funds to ongoing education programmes and provide bursaries to the individual members of our member associations to help further their training and development. But so much for the activities and role of the overarching federation. The real strength of the EIFI lies in that of the member association. So without further ado, I will now hand you over to Sean Downey, who will address you on behalf of Ireland's electrical contracting sector.
Okay, I'm delighted that this year's Energy Show is going ahead in a virtual format to give everybody in the electrical industry in particular an opportunity to take advantage of the connections that they can make and to get an update on the technical changes that are happening in our industry. There are quite a number of changes coming for electrical contractors in particular in 2021. We understand that the EPA have been working on drafting new guidelines for public contracting authorities to aid in the selection of contractors and the selection of products to take on board green procurement rules. And the EPA have been working on those since 2020. We actually fed into that process, and we understand that this event today is actually a pretty important event for contractors in particular to understand exactly what's changing in that regard and to speak to suppliers, to speak to wholesalers, to speak to manufacturers and distributors, to try and talk to them about the actual information that they're going to require as part of public procurement guidelines driven by the EPA's new documents that are coming out now in 2021. The Energy Show offers an opportunity for contractors, installers, a chance to speak to the industry, to speak to those that are manufacturing products here in Ireland, that are distributing products, to wholesalers, to designers, to perhaps specialists in fields like lighting, to understand exactly what new products are actually coming on, what changes are impacting them in terms of regulations, and to actually make sure that they're way ahead in terms of their business planning so that when they bid for projects, they're actually in the best position to win those projects with the best products available on the market for clients. The Office of Public Works are also working on new guidance for public contracting authorities with regard to green procurement. These are likely to be quite strict guidelines that will help all the contracting authorities determine how they should award marks, more marks in terms of quality of a bid rather than price only. It's very interesting that this is developing, and we believe that these award criteria are going to include things such as the performance of products, the life cycle analysis of those products, the cost of not just actually installing those products, but also the maintenance and replacement of them, their end-of-life status and how they can be reused, possibly in another form, or how they can be broken down. Perhaps the materials can be reused in another way, so that they're part of the circular economy as opposed to just going to landfill. These are really big changes. Embodied carbon is another change that the public sector really wants to drive in terms of its agenda. They want to try and bring this forward to try and meet the requirements of the Climate Action Bill that was just published recently, and the targets that we've set, very ambitious targets that Ireland has set for 2030 and also 2050 to comply with both the EU guidelines and also the international benchmarking that Ireland has signed up to. These requirements will mean that contractors and installers will really need to have very close relationships with manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, and specialist designers. And the Energy Show offers a perfect opportunity for companies to meet those people, to talk to them, to try and explain to them the type of data that their clients are looking for, and to really drill down into that, those product data sheets to get the best information available, so that when when they actually bid for projects, they have the best information to hand, so that they can actually put forward the best bid for a contracting authority to actually examine them and give them perhaps the best marks in terms of their qualitative assessment. So this event, it's brilliant that it's taken place. It's actually becoming it's fast becoming the must-attend event of the year in terms of the electrical industry. I think it's great that the SEAI are actually driving this event and supporting it so strongly. They have very significant grants and supports available for contractors in particular to be able to avail of to support householders and commercial operations, commercial building owners to actually avail of grants to upgrade their premises to meet retrofitting targets. And this Energy Show is really the place where you should be coming as a contractor or installer to find out exactly how you access those grants and what you need to do to inform your client to take their project to completion with the best possible energy-saving devices and products installed in that project.
I will now introduce Mark Keogh, who will give the manufacturers and distributors' viewpoint.
What are the key challenges for manufacturers and distributors in relation to the sustainable energy policy? In my view, the sustainable energy policy consists of three pillars. One is looking at greenhouse gas emissions. The second one is looking at renewable energy production. And the third one, energy efficiency across all sectors and all buildings. We know that the targets at the moment are approximately 7% per annum, which would lead to a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Our targets for, let's say, green energy production, renewable energy production, would be 50 to 60% by 2030. At the moment, we're actually at a good position of 40%. And energy efficiency is the key area for manufacturers and distributors to focus on, looking at our products, solutions, and services in order to deliver efficiencies and reductions of energy consumption in those particular areas. The energy of choice going forward is electricity. So this is a very exciting time for the Electrical Industries Federation of Ireland. All of our members are involved in electrical energy, and we will be looking at solutions and products and other aspects of our activities in order to help the government achieve its ambitions. So where have we come from? When we look back and we look at how many industrial revolutions have taken place over the years, I believe that we are, and lots of people believe that we are on our fourth journey as regards industrial revolution. Many years ago, back about 100 years ago, the first industrial revolution took place, where mechanisms were powered by steam and water in order to produce goods. Then it quickly moved on to the second wave, which was using electrical power to create mass production of goods in factories. Later on, and more recently, computers, IT, have come on board to create what we called Industry 3.0. More recently, we've gone to what we call now Industry 4.0, which is taking all of that good progression, integrating it with apps, analytics, artificial intelligence, more digitization, in order to get more efficiencies within the industrial workplace. But if we consider then our homes are becoming more automated, similar to industry of the past. Some of our homes are looking at artificial intelligence to control the air temperature within our houses and homes. So we are becoming more connected. So manufacturers and distributors who supply these products to the market need to bring in more innovative products and solutions and services to the end client. So we're all getting more familiar with the term of smart home, smart factory, smart city, smart port, etc. So everything is leading us to a situation where we have no longer just a base product, we have a connected product. Halfway up the layer we have, let's say, some form of operational control. So that's called edge control, we call it. And then higher up within a factory or maybe within a bigger installation, you would have management information systems collecting all the data. So the next revolution, industrial revolution, is all around data management, analysis, in order for us to move forward. So a long way, we've come a long way. As part of that journey, we're on the next level, looking at developing our products, our solutions, and bringing them to the market. When we look at the residential market, we normally would consider ourselves as consumers of electrical energy. We're moving to the next generation of where perhaps in a lot of installations we'll become a producer of electricity, of electrical power. So the new term prosumer will become more prevalent. So it's where we consume for our appliances at home, but any excess that we may have, perhaps in photovoltaic, and in some cases wind, but other cases where we may be sharing power from our stored energy within our electric vehicle, may be passed back onto the network in order to make sure that everybody has enough energy and power throughout the network. So that term prosumer will become more prevalent in the future. Some of the key points that need to be addressed within our industry are around education. And whilst the EIFI and its members are actively participating in developing training courses and needs for our employees, we also depend on some of the government initiatives that are being put in place at the moment. I'm particularly talking about SkillsNet Ireland, and more recently Engineering SkillsNet, a subset of SkillsNet Ireland, has been formed with the view to helping industries, helping employers, and helping people engaged in the electrical industry develop the new skill sets that are required for this new step change within our economy. Also linked to that, we have also recently heard about the government initiatives in relation to apprenticeships, and this is very welcome because there are new technologies, new subject matters that need to be carried into that curriculum and allow further education after the apprenticeship has been completed. So when we see the new economy developing, we know that there are certain jobs that will be needed, and in fact there are other jobs that haven't actually been defined as yet, but we need to prepare the way through education. And this is one of the key mandates of the EIFI to deliver on educating the industry. Some people will ask me the question, can I explain the relationship between sustainability and the electrical industry? And probably the best way of describing it is to look at the circular economy and what does that actually mean. So most of the products and, let's say, products that we need are taken out of the ground, formed into what we need, and transported around the world. So at the end of their life cycle, they have to go somewhere, and normally back into the ground. So with sustainability, and when you get to understand this circular economy, that we need to, what we take out, we need to put back in a safe and sustainable manner. From a manufacturer's point of view and distributor's point of view, we have to produce products and solutions that will perform and deliver efficiently over a long period of time, so that perhaps 30 years or so. We also have to make sure that when we are transporting those goods, either by road, ferry, air, etc., we're doing it in a sustainable way. The packaging that we're using for our products need to be reusable or recyclable. So this full message, is echoed throughout all industries. We've also looked at, let's say, from farm to fork as regards food and beverage. So right from the farm to delivering it to your plate on the table, the whole industry process behind that needs to be sustainable and understand this circular economy of reusing everything. We have come on a great journey. We're only part there. I am very confident that with the help of the government, the public and ourselves, big investment will continue to invest in these areas to make sure that our economy is sustainable going forward. We have, let's say, if people were to ask me on renewable energy, where would we be today? 10 years ago, I would have said, not very much. In fact, we've achieved 40%, greater than 40% already. Boosting the use of these new technologies and solutions will enable us to achieve a sustainable future for all stakeholders going forward.
In summary, while the energy and carbon reduction challenges facing the world, let alone Ireland, are significant, progress can be made with everyone pulling together. The electrical sector has a major role to play in coordinating and driving this progress, as its members are engaged in delivering solutions across the energy-consuming activities. At the EIFI, we live by the creed of unity of purpose and endeavour to bring that spirit to our engagement with all other interested parties. If you require further information on today's presentation, please contact us at info@eifi.ie. Thank you.